AI might help you with the front end, but it doesn't optimize your back end. You can guarantee 10x leads, but you can't hire and train the people with the same AI.
It's exciting to scale. It's exciting to see more leads coming in. But what happens when your growth outpaces your capacity? Are you building real value or just building volume? This is the Design Rush podcast. I'm your host, Kia Johnson. And today I'm sitting down with Rohit Batheja. He serves as Director of Digital Engineering Services and leads the marketing team at Suntech India. If you care about smarter marketing, scalable systems, and long-term growth, make sure you subscribe and visit us at www.designrush.com. For now, let's get into the conversation. Hi Rohit, welcome. Rohit, to start things off, let's go right back to the beginning. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and what actually led you into digital and marketing?
Over the past decade, I have gained extensive experience in digital marketing, focusing on things like customer acquisition, retention, analytics. What I observed was that everybody in digital marketing was chasing something called as the number of leads, the volume of leads. But businesses weren't actually healthier. That paradox really fascinated me. I realized that the opportunity wasn't just in generating more demand, but generating the right demand.
In terms of actually the interest itself specifically in solving business problems through technology and through data, what made you go that route?
What fascinated me was the intersection of technology and business. In my earlier career, I saw businesses struggling to use technology effectively and they were chasing real world problems. It became very clear to me that data and technology go hand in hand. If we could empower businesses using both of them, that would be really great. So I was drawn to digital marketing because it allowed me to combine my passion for technology as well as make it data driven. Data, in my opinion, data lets us have honest conversations. The metrics like lifetime value, the metrics like churn rate, all of these can predict problems before they arise. So this power of combining businesses with the right tech stack is really very interesting. And the combination, the metrics, the analysis which we get by this combination is extremely intriguing, and you would want to jump in more and more.
I would love to find out from you what changed the way that you think about growth itself.
When I started, my focus was to just bring in more leads for my business. As the head of digital marketing, I wanted to increase the number of leads incoming for my company. But over time, I realized that this is not just volume. It's not sustainable. You need to have long-term growth driven by the right customers. As the stages progressed, it helped me understand that growth needs to be strategic. It needs to be focused on things like lifetime value, retention, alignment with the mission and vision with the business goals. This shift in the mindset shaped what I am today. I approach marketing with a completely different angle as in when I started. My focus was just to acquire leads, which has now shifted to nurturing profitable relationships. I was running after volume and now I'm chasing value.
It's so interesting that you're speaking about that because a lot of businesses are actually still treating your lead volume as the main measure of success. And so what you're saying is that it's actually the relationship that one must nurture. And so just because you have perhaps the volume doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be getting the revenue or the growth output that you're looking for. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. There are three reasons to as in why businesses are still chasing lead volume. Firstly, it is very easy to measure. It is very easy to celebrate the high number of leads. You can jump and say, I got 50 leads, I got 100 leads. It feels like progress. Secondly, marketing incentives are misaligned. They are still focused on things like market qualified leads, on traffic, on conversion rates, not what happens after the handoff to the sales. And thirdly, there is you must have seen a 200 item menu and 20 perfectly curated dishes. It is a psychological trap. The 500 or 200 item menu would attract you, and not those fine 20 curated dishes. So there is this psychological trap that jumps you into treating volume as the measure of success. However, this is very narrow. it doesn't lead to good relationships, and it doesn't lead the business to handle it effectively.
I think when it's busy happening, you're living in the moment, and so everybody's hitting those marks, and they're going beyond what it is that they need to achieve, and so they're hitting more and more leads, and so it's only later that one starts seeing that this is now crumbling down, and we've actually taken on more than we can handle. So, what are the kinds of signs that we should be looking out for?
It looks very meaty in the beginning. You really enjoy it, but the signs start showing up as soon as the sales process begins. The sales teams becomes overwhelmed. The leads start to slip through the cracks. You will notice a drop in the quality of interactions with the prospects. The sales and marketing teams keep to struggle. They are just in a cutthroat competition sort of manner. They keep struggling with each other. In addition, businesses generate demand faster that they can handle, and this all leads to a mismatch in customer expectations, leading to something called as customer dissatisfaction, which is a very common term in marketing nowadays. Another clear sign is that the resources like CRMs, the support teams, they can't keep up with the volume, causing delays, causing errors, and finally it is a big burnt out. The team gets burnt out. So it is not that you wait for a couple of months to get these signs noticed. They are evident as soon as the process begins.
I would like you to take us through what you believe causes companies to attract the wrong type of customer instead of the right one.
What we have in marketing is a term called ideal customer profile, which people term it as ICP. What happens is that the customers or the companies, they attract the wrong type of businesses or end users. If a company casts a wide net to generate more and more leads, they often end up attracting people who aren't a good fit, either for their product or for their service. The reasons may be poor lead qualifications, the reasons may be unclear messagings, the reason may be using the wrong channels. A company is, if it isn't clear about who they are targeting, they end up with leads that waste resources and ultimately doesn't lead to a long-term connection. So things like spreading your net too far, generating leads for the sake of generating, focusing on volume, not focusing on the right type of messaging often makes companies attract wrong customers. ICB remains very good in theory, but not followed practically.
Do you think that AI has actually made it easier then to create demand faster than businesses can actually realistically manage? Because it feels like it's heading that way.
AI has that zeal, that energy, where it makes it easier for practically anyone to generate content, generate demand, and scale it up as quickly as possible. It has that aura, which makes you, I can do it in a minute. I can generate 100 blogs in, suppose, one day. What used to take months of research, months of storytelling is now very easy to generate via AI. But that temptation to use AI for speed, that temptation to use it for practically everything comes with a very huge risk. The huge risk is that AI might help you with the front end, but it doesn't optimize your back end. You can guarantee you can guarantee 10x leads, but you can't hire and train the people with the same AI. So although it makes easy to generate content, to generate media at scale, but personalized outreach and automating the lead generation still contains a lot of risk. You can launch campaigns in hours that used to take weeks, but the problem is that it is just a front end optimizer. You also need to take care of your back end. Back end would be your resources, back end would be your governance, back end would be your security and privacy. So although it might sound very exciting, very tempting, and very easy to launch, but it has its hidden risks.
Have you then seen companies actually perform better after focusing on fewer better clients in your experience? And then what would you say actually has changed?
Yeah, I have seen it. I've seen it firsthand. Even we as a company, recently changed your vision. You can say by focusing on better clients rather than focusing on a huge net of leads. What it has helped us as in the way that we are more focusing on hyper personalization. What is hyper personalization? Hyper personalization is aided by AI. It helps you to reach out to a customer in as personal manner as possible. So your campaigns, your content, your emails, your media is so focused to that particular client that you build more deeper and meaningful connections. Now, this can't happen if you are tapping a huge net of leads. You need to focus on few better clients. Also, the companies adopting this route then tend to see better conversion rates. They see repeat business, they see references being thrown, they see word of mouth being mentioned, good reviews, higher lifetime value, and making the growth sustainable. So AI might make you appear that this growth is sustainable and you might catch all the fish, but focusing on a few clients is really what the is.
If I am, as an organization, hitting too many leads, and now I'm in the situation, now volume is there, everything is just going fantastic in my mind, and then I start noticing that things are starting to crumble, what would you then say I should do in that moment? Like, what do I do to mitigate, and to resolve it?
The basic challenge that addresses your question is that a company or a business has various departments like marketing, like sales, like operations. The problem with the world is that we treat those departments as separate, and the growth feels very chaotic. As I was mentioning ICP, everybody must have prepared a document outlining all the theories of that ICP, but the real understanding of what is successful, what is really profitable, that is missing nowadays in many organizations. What The sales, they tell marketing which source convert best. Operations informs us which segments generate value. So, or incentives or results should be around that pipeline. And critically, since AI has made the demand generation very easy, it has made it very, very easy to scale, we should also focus on building that operational capacity. The best companies have weekly meetings where marketing, sales, ops, they review all the metrics together and then make decisions. They think of growth as a system and not separate departments hitting separate targets. Usually, it has been the playbook. It has been the playbook that all these departments have their own targets, but what AI realized, the realization has flown in that let us mix it all and let us make combined targets rather than treating them in silos.
What should founders then focus on today if they want growth that stays sustainable long term?
The founders, they should really focus on what I mentioned as sustainable growth. They should focus on building a scalable foundation. They should focus on defining the right audience, creating a value proposition. The founders, the management, the leadership should focus in systems that invest growth. It is essential that we balance growth and capacity and ensure that customer experience isn't compromised. We should create a culture within our teams where innovation and continuous improvement using data, that is very important, using data, not just shooting in the dark, being supported by data is extremely essential. Since AI is changing rapidly, you would see lot of GPTs, lot of Claudes, Geminis being coming up with wonderful things. It is very important that you become agile. It is very, very important you change your strategies weekly. All the old marketing concepts of defining long-term strategies continue to fail in the AI era. And I would like to conclude by saying that building lasting relationships with the right clients and having the infrastructure to support them will make you. You must have heard of a nature's law called survival of the fittest. So, survival of the fittest happens when you have the right infrastructure supporting your changing strategies, and that is nurtured by long-lasting relationships.
So true. I feel almost like we went right back to the basics, which is so important when one is building a business. You have to have a strong foundation, a firm foundation in order to have that sustainable growth moving forward. Rahit, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. It was really great to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Curious about what top brands look for when choosing an agency? Tune into our latest episodes where we reveal the decision-making secrets of leading brands. Subscribe to the Design Dash podcast and stay ahead of the competition.